Welcome into today's episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff with you and joined by stepper coach Kristin Smith today. And I am so happy to have you along because we talked about it. We wanted to talk again. We wanted to talk after you bring back hardware, and that you did in a big way. National champions.
Yes. We won the large team national championship. It was pretty exciting. Yeah. It was awesome.
So let's talk. I think first we talked about how judges are so important with this. It's a competition that's judged. So did you start getting a good feel early on with what happened if you were going to be in a position where you could win this thing?
I did. Friday, my officers performed, and they had officer awards Friday night, and my officers ended up first runner-up. And I thought, okay, we've actually got a shot at this. We definitely do. And you never know because Texas teams change so often. They grow just so quickly, and new high schools crop up all the time. Right. And so there were some, teams that I hadn't heard of before. So, when we got first runner-up with officers, I thought, okay, if my girls can, nail what they do, we've got a shot at this.
Yeah.
So,
and that comes down to it. You thought you may have favorable judging early on, but you still got to go out there and perform. And you got to perform at a high level. You have to be crisp. You have to be clean. You can't make mistakes.
Right.
To win a national championship, that's what you got to do. You did your part.
My girls definitely did. I will say we had a pretty shaky start. Our very first team routine was our prop, which is our hoops. And normally that is just solid. But boy, I could tell nerves were getting to them. They had just some uncharacteristic mistakes. And I thought, oh, what's going on? But, when we got back in the dressing room, I said, girls, that's okay. That's why we do 4. We drop our lowest score. That's why we do 4 routines. They only count your 3 highest. So I said, you've got your work cut out for you the rest of the day, but you can do it. But you've just got to put 3 amazing routines on the floor. Now, and that's what they did.
How does that, though, you talk about you have nerves, but then all of a sudden, that's going to be your lowest score. That has to be a great response from those girls to say, hey, we're going to step up because we know we got to be perfect these next 3. Right. So I would imagine there was even more nerves when they walked out, and to suppress that and still come out there and do good has to be quite the accomplishment.
It really was. Our second routine that we did was our high kick, and I honestly cannot explain it. My niece went with me, and she was my captain in 2019, the last year that we won, and she went with me, and we were watching our kick, and I don't know, there was just some electricity in the gym. It was just, ask any of our parents, it was just so cool, but it was just different. I mean, we have had really, really good high kick performances before, but there was just something different about this one. And I mean, we got a standing ovation, people cried. I mean, it was pretty cool. Kevin Frazier came down, the FFA sponsor, came down and watched it, which was so amazing, and my girls just loved it so much. And he had the greatest post on Facebook, but one of the things that he said was their high kick was just magic, and it really was. It really was. And that just kind of, once they got off the floor, I mean, that just kind of propelled us for the rest of the day because they knew they had.
Well, naturally with the steppers, high kick is one of your better. So how it was structured, maybe not the strongest, but then high kicks are the strongest, so it really helped maybe get your girls in a flow going to the next 2.
It did definitely. And then we did military after that, which is also a very strong point for us. And then we ended up with our palm. And our palm ended up scoring the highest of the day. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you talk about the magic, right? And you talk about the high kicking, and you get that moment. It's kind of like a last-second shot, I think, in sports or anything when you have that magical moment.
Right.
You're not in shock because you're the coach. And the high steppers, they know they did something good, but did it kind of dawn on you probably once you had a cool-down period just how good it was?
Yeah, it definitely did. When we walked out of the gym, and then we had probably 6 hours before we performed again. And just to kind of sit and take it in and think back and be able to watch some video back, it was, I was thinking, okay, that was on another level. And we had worked so much on that kick routine. It was to Carrie Underwood's Love Wins. So there was a lot of emotion to it also. And we had worked and worked on, I told the girls, I said, have you all listened to the lyrics of this? And most of them hadn't. And when I quoted the first verse, they were like, what? It's about that? I was like, yeah, you guys, it's about struggle. It's about horrible things that happens, but the love wins. And it was pretty cool.
Well, and you know what's cool about that? The best dances, whether it's a group, whether it's dancing just by yourself or dancing with somebody, those ones that you are telling the story with the music, those are the ones that are special. And that sounds like that was, and you're always trying to find songs to perform to that do that, because they do bring that emotion and everything. And that not only looks good for you, but also those judges see that, the fans see that. So it's trying to find the right song is important, and explaining to them, hey, this song means that. Right. That all of a sudden registered it sounded right for them.
It did. It really did. And I think it just kind of took that performance to that next level where it had to be. Because there are ridiculously amazing teams at Nationals. So, and you got to be on that next level.
Yeah. So, what was the bus ride back home like?
It was, most of my girls go home with their parents, but the bus ride from the Coliseum back to our hotel was pretty fun. Lots of screaming, lots of chanting, It was fun.
It's interesting. Winning a national championship, just for people to know, no matter what it is, it's so hard. I was fortunate in FFA to be able to do that. You talk about Mr. Frazier going down there with you. I was able to do that in FFA. And I remember that moment that we were announced the national champions. And it may not be a big thing to a lot of people, but for that group that worked so hard for it, it was such a big thing. And there was a buzz. Let's just put it that way. There was a buzz that lasted for a long time, but that buzz on that ride from when you get that trophy and when they make that announcement back to your hotel, and then even back home, it's different to describe when you put all your blood, sweat, and tears into that, and now you are crowned the best of the nation.
I know. Yeah, it is so fun. And my last goal as a coach was to win a national championship with my daughter on the team. I had done it with my niece, and then we had done it several years before. But my last goal was truly, I want to win this with my daughter. I want that, while she's still with me on the team. And so it was pretty cool. She's only a sophomore, so we got 2 more shots at it.
And that's cool because my grandpa, he was helping us out with that. You know what I'm saying? So that family thing, because yes, you're going to be fair and everything like that. We all understand that, but it just, when you get to celebrate it as a coach and as a parent, it's something that's special.
Oh, definitely. My husband was videoing the awards, and they were going 5th runner-up and 4th runner-up, and we were all down on the floor. And when they said 3rd runner-up, 2nd runner-up. When they said 2nd runner-up, Rock Hill, which they were freaking amazing, you can hear my husband on his video say they won it. And I don't know, it just still kind of gives me chills.
What's funny when you're in that moment, even though it doesn't dawn on you, because you're saying that and they're like 1st runner-up, and you're like, oh, we just won this thing. But at the same time, you're like, oh, wait, are we even in top 5? You really, even though based on individual performances and score, you get a feel if you know what you're looking at, what you do. Right. But still, until they say that name, it's not solidified. No,
absolutely. My girls were just, so excited when they said 1st runner-up, Plano. And I, in the back of my head, there was that little part of me going, crap, did we not even place? I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so what from here? I mean, naturally now you're starting to look at how do we go into the 23-24 school year. And as we know, they rotate judges. It's going to be hard to go repeat, but you're going to go down there and compete again. You're going to compete at a high level. So where do you go now with the Steppers with this national championship? You had another in your back pocket.
Yeah. Well, one thing I really want to make known to the girls, this next team is, yes, we just won the national championship. But for a lot of you, that wasn't you. You got to prove yourself. And this team has got to prove itself. We can't rely on what last year's team did. Even though some of you were on last year's team that won it, you gotta make your own path for this team. And so we got to decide, what is this team going to do to win it?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's like they say, and high steppers have been on top a long time, everybody. As we know, you don't win a national championship every year, as we've discussed. But when you're on top, getting there sometimes is the easier part. It's staying there that's tough. And that's what's made this high stepper program so great, in my opinion, is the ability to stay there at that high level.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've worked a long time to get them where they are, but it's a very good feeling to be able to be here.
It's emotional too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like I said, you got a daughter, but you also got a bunch of other daughters.
Absolutely, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And I know you treat them like that. You tell them when they're wrong, you praise them when they're right. So that's what a good coach does. Treat them like their own, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I always love it when my girls call me their second mom. It's cool.
Yeah. There's some days, though, they probably like you more than others, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's some days they don't like me very much
Just
at
like
all.
your daughter, too, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, congratulations. Just so great. One thing I want to mention before we go is one thing they're going to get to do that's so awesome is they're going to get the chance to go to the Capitol and celebrate this. And to me, that has to be so cool. And, of course, we have great representation right here in Ponca City, and you're going to get to go down there and basically have a day that's dedicated to what your girls were able to achieve. So that's going to be really cool coming up in May.
Oh, yeah, definitely. May 2nd we get to go, and I'm super excited. My girls are pumped for it. It'll be great. We get to go to both the House and the Senate. I get to speak. Yeah.
Did y'all get to do this in any past championships?
Yes, I've done it 2 other times. With my niece in 2019, we got to go, and then in 2008, we got to go also.
But it's been a while.
So it's been a while, yeah.
So, well, we won't talk about the Capitol and everything, but that's going to be a breath of fresh air for everything that goes on at the Capitol.
Well, thanks.
Having that team down there where everybody can smile and not argue. So.
I hope so.
Well, Coach, anything else where we'll let you go?
Okay, I think I'm good. Thanks.
Right. Coach Kristin Smith, and appreciate you watching this, as congratulations once again to the High Steppers, national champions yet again. Jordan Woodruff saying so long for this episode of Coach's Corner. Until next time, go Cats.